Welcome, Gemini and Gemini cross-watchers, to your singles and new love reading. So we're going to get where you are, where you're headed, what you need to know, and then the next love interest that's romantically interested in you for Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. And of course, that will be timestamped in the description box below. So thanks for stopping by my channel today. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. So where you are is the Six of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. And then where you're headed is actually Temperance. So from what I'm seeing here, Gemini, I feel like there's something that you were working... It's almost like you were working really hard to get over. You were working on like, I'm going to value myself. I'm going to make sure that I'm, taking care of my business. How do I say this? It's almost like you're saying to yourself, this isn't going to stop, Gemini. Gemini is going to keep moving. I feel like you kind of made a decision to not play into somebody who was a little bit full of themselves. And I feel like somebody went in a different direction. Somebody moved away from the situation. I feel like for some of you, it actually feels like whoever it is that moved away, it's kind of like that's exactly what you were kind of hoping would happen. And I feel like there was something here that you were really kind of, it's almost like there was something that you were fighting for in the past that as you kind of move forward, you really couldn't care less. It's almost like it may have been difficult to let go of. This feels like there's, I think it was Taurus that had the same card in the same spot. But anyway, it feels like there is, I feel like if you're being honest with yourself, or at least from what I'm seeing in the cards, whatever it was very, very hurtful, extremely hurtful. I feel like it was more hurtful than you wanted to admit to yourself at the time. And it actually feels like, it's not that you're happy that you went through the sorrow, but it feels like that type of energy that it's like you're happy that this person showed you who they were when they did, so that you didn't waste any more of what you really do see as your precious time, right? That's a limited resource. And so I feel like you're happy that, again, I want to stress, it's not like you're happy that you got hurt, but you are happy that at least you know that something was broken, and that it's almost like, and that, well, there still may feel like there's something broken inside you. I just want to say you're not broken. It's just, it feels like your heart is still broken, but you're able to push through it with your mind and kind of keep going. It's kind of what I'm picking up from this card here. What do you need to know? Yeah, I feel like this card came out in Taurus's reading as well. I feel like this person represented where Taurus was right now. Having said that, it may or may not be a Taurus or someone with Taurus in their chart that's coming in, right? It just feels like there's this energy of, I feel like there's somebody here that's going to come in and try to get your attention. And they seem to feel like it's going to be something that's really fun, really engaging for you, but it feels very unreliable. So, as we all know, or anyway, I know that's generalizing Taurians, whatever. You know what? I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. I apologize, but you know what I mean. I feel like this person is actually someone that's pretty unreliable. I feel like they're coming in for a good time, not a long time. And what's interesting is I actually feel like this person may act like this connection is going to be more. It feels like the kind of person that's going to act like, oh, we're going to be down for each other. This is going to be serious. It's like they'll tell you that they love you and all this sort of stuff. Meanwhile, I feel like they might be saying that to more than one person, right? It feels like they might be doing that to more than one person. And it's almost like whoever seems to be able to put up with their nonsense the longest is the one that, ends up winning the game. And like with prizes like that, who even wants to play? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm picking up from you. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like the only reason that this person may kind of make a bit of an entrance into your world or even kind of get access to you is if they come in when you're in this energy. If they come in right now, I kind of feel like there's something that seems really refreshing and fun about them that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that seems like a breath of fresh air. It's almost like you're not really, let's say, for example, you're not really looking for anything serious. And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, this seems like it'll be just kind of refreshing, right? But I feel like as you move forward, this person seems, I feel kind of gross saying this about another human, so please take it for what it's worth, okay? But it's almost like you end up seeing this person as an NPC, if you will, or non-player character, right? It feels like you see them as somebody that's just kind of there. It doesn't feel like it's somebody that has enough, almost like emotional depth or breadth to understand you. I feel like this person likes, it's like they know all of those key words, right? It's like they know all of the specific taglines or sentences to say to make people feel like they're understood, but it's almost like that's all they ever talk in. You know what I mean? It's like they're a walking, talking, supportive and inspirational meme, right? And it's almost like this person seems to not be able to have a real conversation about real things. It's like they are able to have that conversation, but it just feels so inauthentic because it just feels like they're constantly quoting, this meme or that meme. It's almost like, it feels, from what I'm picking up from you anyway, it feels like this person, it's almost like you're questioning, like, is this person a human or are they just kind of like a robot? If ever you've seen that movie, I think it's Jumanji with Kevin Hart and The Rock. And there are certain there's certain characters in the movie that only have a certain, like, they can give a certain amount of information. And then they get to a place where it's like, those are all of the lines that are written for that character. That's kind of how it feels when you're relating to this person. It's like, that's kind of why they don't feel like they're obviously a real person, right? But it just feels like they're not, how do I say this? To you, I feel like the reason they're coming in with all of that kind of, I want to say like pre-said sentences, if that makes sense. The reason they're doing that is because they're just here to get something from you. And they seem to feel that that's the quickest, fastest way to do it. It's like they want to seem like they're, I'm hearing like really woke and they know everything. I feel like this is somebody that is around people as long as that person is looking up to them. And then when people see through them and see that the things that they're saying, it's like that may reflect that they know what they're talking about, but the things that they're doing in their life show that actually they have no clue what they're talking about. And then it's just, like verbal nonsense. Really, it's like they don't even understand the words that are coming out of their mouth. I feel like that kind of makes you, I feel like part of you, I'm going to be honest, okay? Part of you kind of is like, you know what, maybe I could toy with this person for a little bit, see if there's something, and not toy or like play games with them, but it's almost like see if you can tease the real version out of them. But I feel like you kind of end up being like, oh, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, that's just too, it feels like, to you, it's like a split-second thought, and then it's like, you know what, that would just be, there's just too much energy that you would be putting into them. So I'm just writing down the time here, and we're going to go to, all right. For those of you with your Gemini, or Sun in Gemini, my apologies, we have the everything is fine. I feel like this is somebody that you're actually kind of at odds with, or I almost wanted to say like not quite at war with, but it does feel like it's a little bit of, there's a lot of messiness. There's a lot of complications here between, it just feels like there needs to be one more card. Well, like, dang. They have the Ten of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. Neither of those are feel-good cards, right? It's about things getting as bad as they can and feeling like you're left out in the cold. And here you're over here. And I feel like this person, I know it's supposed to be new love. I'm not really feeling, it may be new love to you, but this person doesn't feel like they're a new person. I feel like you kind of see them as they got what they deserved here. It actually feels like you're looking at this person like they kind of got what they deserved. It just feels like that may have been how you felt when things originally happened to this person, but I feel like now that the whole story's coming out, now that you're hearing more and more, it's like it just keeps coming, and it's like, well, now everyone's kind of going into it's like it's overkill, right? You know what I mean? It's almost like you're looking at it like one sword was enough. It didn't need to be this way. It didn't need to be that bad. And I feel like people are getting so ridiculous about this person that you kind of end up wanting to defend them and just being like, shut up. You know what I mean? It's like there's just no need for that. Like the person's down already. We don't have to keep kicking them. Just, you know what I mean? Like you just seem to, it's almost like maybe they got what they deserved in the beginning, but I feel like you're looking at it like, it's not right. It's not right what's happening to this person. It's like, yes, they've made, we've all made mistakes, right? But it just feels like, sorry, I just had to plug in my laptop. The cord was coming out. I feel like it's just too far. It doesn't feel right. And I feel like if people keep going this way, it actually does feel like you will be stepping in, not, to come and because you want to save the day or you want to get involved or you're even that emotionally attached to this person. It's just like, it almost feels like you see it that somebody needs to put their friggin' foot down and send the jackals or the hyenas away. And you really do see yourself as being that type of person. I feel like you're somebody that when you talk, people respect it. And I feel like whatever it is that you end up saying, I feel like that people, it's almost like they just might need to hear it, that it needs to stop, So, I'm just going to write down the time here. Sorry about that, Jem. So for those of you with your moon in Gemini, we have the sun reversed. So, I feel like you see this person. Yeah, we have the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. So the sun is about illumination, right? And it is about that, like, the happiness that I guess my assumption would be that we're all looking for. And I feel like you see this person as, I feel like at first you may want them to like you. You almost may want to kind of impress this person because you see them in a certain type of light. And I almost don't want to do this. I don't kind of want to ruin it for you. But I feel like the longer that you're in that energy, the more you see that this person, it's almost like they're too in their own world to see it. They're too self-involved. They're too selfish. There's something here that it's almost like you realize or you see that this person really doesn't resonate with you. You know what I mean? It's like this person seems to be somebody that it's almost like if you were trying or if you worked to impress them for however long, right? Even if it was just for, an hour while you were out with them and your friends or whatever, it's almost like you feel them kind of, if you were in that energy before, the way that things flip around, it's almost like this person is kind of a jerk and then expects you to try to impress them. And then when you don't, they take pot shots at you. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're kind of a jerk. And I feel like you're like in this temperance energy, right? It's like, I almost want to say, just like everything else, when it shows you that it's not going to be for you, you just kind of let it pass you by, right? And I feel like it is a little bit disheartening for you. It feels like the type of energy that It's kind of like, oh, you felt really hopeful that maybe you found somebody like you. You found somebody that maybe wasn't perfect, but kind of had the same, not basic points, but the same big ones. No, that's not it. It feels like you found somebody that you could almost like, that you could trust at first. And I feel like, and then later on, I'm going to be honest, it feels like you may be feeling like you were kind of stupid to feel that way in the first place. It doesn't feel like you're being hard on yourself or beating yourself up over it. It's just, it's almost like this person may have reignited your faith in humanity, but then getting to know them better, it's just more of the same. I do feel like this person is somebody that, this may be very specific. I feel like they're actually in a relationship with somebody else, and I feel like they seem to want to have you on the side, and they seem to think that you're going to be okay with hiding their secret for them. That's not to say that you will. I'm super uncomfortable. I feel like you actually end up having no respect for this person at all. And I feel for those of you that ends up resonating with, it's almost like the last person that you think will actually be a good match for you. It's almost like the person that you don't want to be around, the person that you kind of end up trying almost to kind of edge out of your life. I feel like they end up growing on you in a way that you don't expect. So I'm just writing down the time. So for those of you with a, Gemini Rising, you guys have a lot to say, apparently. So we have the Five of Wands, which was down. I'm just going to move this over. We have Judgment, Nine of Pentacles, Three of Cups, and Three of Pentacles. I almost wanted to say, I feel like this person talks a lot. I feel like this person will try to impress you by being like a stable, reliable, almost kind of like industrious person. I'm kind of getting some like Capricorn vibes. For people who have their Venus in Capricorn, they usually try to feel or express, I mean, depending on other placements, right? But generally speaking, they will, it's like they find, they need stability in love, and they also try to express their own stability to impress people in love, right? And I'm just kind of really picking up those vibes. I feel like this person has been through, sorry, one moment, please. Sorry about that. So I feel like this person has really been through hell and back, if I'm being honest. I feel like they have, it's like they've built themselves up, they've broken down, they've had to build, you know what I mean? It just feels like there's been this real, almost like scorpionic cycle, right? Of just this constant loss, gain, which of course, you know, that's life, right? But I feel like to a certain extent, this person, it seems to feel like a bigger energy for them than for some people, because they feel like they've had to do it by themselves. And it's almost like this person, this Five of Wands came out, but we could only see the back of the card, right? Because it's kind of like that. So it's almost like this person doesn't look at anything in their life as like, oh, this is going to stay, this is going to be permanent, right? Because I feel like they've just kind of, to them, it feels like they've kind of surrendered to the, how do I say this? To the, I don't even know how to say it. To them, it feels like they have surrendered to that ebb and flow of life, but it actually feels like they have, it's almost like what is actually going on is that they've just admitted to themselves, it doesn't, I mean, obviously this isn't the case, right? But it's like, this is what's actually going on behind the scenes. They've admitted to themselves that nothing is ever going to stay. Nothing is ever going to, what I'm hearing is, Nothing's ever going to love them. And if they never allow themselves to truly love anything, then it's not going to hurt when anything leaves, right? That's the kind of like, it's like they're just not going to fight losing anymore. So I kind of feel like the whole situation, regardless of how interested you are or are not in this person, it kind of ends up feeling like it's not whether or not you could actually handle the situation. I feel like it just starts to feel like it's going to detract too much from what you're doing right now in your life, if that makes sense. Like it'll just take up too much of your time and you'd have to give up too much of yourself for it. So, sorry, I'm just going to write down the time here. So for those of you with your a rising Gemini, we have the Queen of Cups with the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like this is somebody straight off the hop, someone that's very independent. It does feel like they kind of have this perfect love or this idealized love in mind that they, it's almost like this person expects their perfect person to be very standoffish. It's almost like if it's too easy or they don't have to win that person over, I feel like it's almost like they think that person isn't for them. That's the kind of vibe I'm picking up from them. I feel like this is someone that it's like, yes, they see you. Yes, they're interested. But I feel like it's almost like they're so obsessed with the concept of love that when love comes by, they're more focused on wanting to manifest it than they are on seeing that it's there. It's almost like it's easier. Sorry, nothing weird is happening. I'm just readjusting myself in this chair. I feel like there's something about this person that they seem to enjoy fantasizing about love rather than actually even noticing that it's there and available for them. And I feel like there is actually already somebody that is interested in this person. And it's almost like if, for example, you came along and you, made a play for this person, right? It doesn't feel like they're involved with anybody else. But it's almost like if you came along and made a play for this person, I feel like the other one that's kind of been waiting for them to come out of their shell would be like, go ahead, man. You know what I mean? It just feels like this energy of like, yeah, try it. Because they seem to feel like they know that that's not what would happen. And what would be really surprising for this person is that I feel like if you did, it actually feels like this Queen of Cups person, it's almost like you're a magnet, right? It kind of feels like with these two, you know how when magnets are opposite and it's like they can only get so close before you have to kind of like, oh, you got to force them together. But with you and this person, it's almost like you're the fridge and they're the magnet, right? And it's just going to be like, they're just going to be there. And I feel like this person kind of isn't going to want to, it's like they seem to not want to leave your side, but I feel like they're not quite ready to like fully invest in, almost want to say like in a relationship. It's almost like the two of you will do like almost like a parallel play sort of deal first, if that makes sense. Not playing each other or anything like that, but it's like a thing with, I guess for those of you that don't know or don't have children and don't know, parallel play is when the kids are really young and it's like they're not quite developmentally at a place where they are able to or have the drive to kind of play with other kids, but they will, like one kid will play with a toy here, one kid will play with a toy here, and they're not necessarily interacting with each other, but they're playing alongside each other. It's like that's kind of the parallel play. And so I feel like the two of you, both of you see each other, both of you can tell me no if I'm wrong, right? But from what I'm seeing, I think you both want each other. It just feels like neither of you is willing to look up from what you're doing right now. And it does feel like, you know, you may have that like fun, flirty gem energy. I mean, obviously, just based off of kind of the imagery on the cards here, right? This person may seem, it's almost like you're both having the same internal experience, just your external expression of those things. Yours seems to come out and show quite a bit differently than this person. And it's almost like if the two of you were to kind of get together, if you spend a lot of time together, I feel like people would ask you, like, why are you spending so much time with them? You know what I mean? It's like they seem to have a hard time understanding it. And I feel like, number one, you don't feel like you have to answer anybody's question like that. And I feel like number two, it also makes you think about like, okay, well, why? Why is the attraction to this person? And I feel like you really love the independent parallel play sort of thing. I feel like you really love that this person has their own thing going on. It's almost like, let's say, for example, if you've been with people before that like they can't really watch their show on their own, they need you there with them, right? Even if you don't like that show, they just kind of, it's almost like they will not mope, but it's like they'll act like a little bit like a spoiled child if you didn't sit with them. Whereas this person's like, oh, you're not going to be here? Okay, well then get out. Not in a mean way, right? But it's more in like a, they don't need you there to enjoy themselves. And I feel like that seems to be something that's very attractive to you. But I feel like part of you, it's almost like sometimes you kind of don't know where you stand with this person. And I feel like that may be frustrating to other people, but for you, it's almost like it gives you the freedom to feel how you're feeling in the moment, right? Because there's no pressure. There's no, this needs to be this, right? Because it's almost like, there isn't any pressure. I feel like this isn't the kind of person that's going to want you to, you know, define the relationship right away. Not that, you know, that isn't something that the two of you wouldn't want, but it just feels like they seem to give you so much freedom that you just kind of can't help but like being around them because there isn't anything that they're demanding of you. They want you there, but they don't need you there. And I feel like it's like a splash of cold water on your face, but a really refreshing one on a hot day. So just going to write down the time here. Sorry. For those of you with your Venus in Gemini, Page of Wands, with the, again, the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. The Hermit's been making quite a few appearances in the reads. Oh, look at the Empress. So, I feel like this person, oh my gosh, this, I'm actually getting exhausted just tapping into their energy. It feels like this is the kind of person that it's like they kind of can't stop moving. It's almost like the type of person that wouldn't really enjoy going on like a date to out to dinner and the movies. It's like they couldn't sit still that long. I feel like there's somebody that's like a pinball in a pinball machine. They seem to be someone that is a little bit scattered. It's almost like that kind of person that you walk into their house and it's like, it's a little bit disorganized, but, and it's almost, I almost wanted to say, but they know where everything is, but they kind of don't. You know what I mean? There's something that's a little bit haphazard about them, but they still seem to be able to get everything done. And it's almost like, it feels like the type of energy where you don't, like, you respect that that's their process, and I feel like you're not being judgmental because they get everything done, and I feel like you kind of don't care how it gets done as long as it gets done. But it does feel like there are some things that you can't relate to this person on. It feels like they're the kind of person that may have had a very chaotic upbringing. I feel like there's somebody that it's like they seem to have this light at the end of the tunnel that they're always chasing. And it's almost like, I feel like you're just going to allow them to do what they're doing. You know, not because like, oh, otherwise you'd be in control and blah, blah, blah. It actually feels like you're doing that more so they can kind of figure out for themselves that, I almost want to say like, what's up, if that makes sense. It's almost like you're just going to kind of let them find out for themselves that like whatever it is that they're chasing, it's already here. If that makes sense. It does feel like this person is somebody that's always reaching for something better, which of course is admirable, right? But it does feel to you that this person kind of isn't giving credit where credit is due. I feel like there's times where you feel like this person doesn't see you. They don't recognize what you're trying to do, what you're trying to offer, that type of deal. It does seem to, it's almost like at times you may have this hint of feeling like you're not appreciated, but it's almost like, but then you kind of remember that you don't really care. And I feel like, and in remembering that, like, but I don't really care, I actually feel like that seems to create a divide between the two of you. And it just feels like there's this, I feel like, I'm going to be honest, I feel like you feel connected to them and you're acknowledging it and you're kind of living in that truth. And I feel like they feel connected to you, but I feel like they are trying to act like they're not. It's like they're trying to act like, oh, I'm all about my money or my job or my work or whatever. They're trying to act like they're all about something else and they're not being authentic to what they're actually thinking, feeling, and wanting, because it's like they're trying to put on some sort of show to reach a goal. And I feel like you just kind of let them almost like spin their own web here and figure that out on their own. And I feel like for some of you, you may kind of end up dropping them over that if the two of you did get together in the first place. So I think I'll leave it there, Gemini. If this reading resonated, I hope it was helpful and brought you some clarity. If you'd like a private reading with me, my email is below in the description box. I am responding in chronological order to everyone that's reached out for a reading. But the wait list is a couple of weeks at least, so a few weeks really. So that's what I have for you today. If you're new here, welcome. I upload mini weekly love reads on Sundays and then usually a longer read on Thursdays. And we'll see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.